You do not belong here. That's what Denise Caldwell screamed in my face, barely 7 a.m., her voice shattering the first real peace I'd had in years before I'd even gotten a sip of coffee down. She was standing on my lawn clipboard, clutched like a weapon face, twisted with a kind of fury you can't earn, only inherit. I checked the paperwork 3 times. The property line was clear. I owned this land free and clear outside the reach of any association. But you know how it goes, some folks don't care about facts, just control. And over the next 30 days, Denise Caldwell was about to find out what happens when you go toe-to-toe with a guy who actually reads the fine print front and back. Ever deal with someone who thought the rules just didn't apply to them? Drop your story below. Trust me, I want to hear it. 3 days earlier, I had stood in the same spot, but my chest was light sun climbing over a stretch of land. No fences, no stupid little plaques about homeowner standards, just space. After 6 years grinding away at a kitchen table startup and finally cashing out, this was supposed to be my quiet place, the reset you can't buy in the city. I spent half a day at the county clerk's cross-referencing plot maps until my eyes burned, checking every marker and obscure clause about easements. Marker 47B, 15 meters east of Creek Lane. My land stopped right where Meadowbrook HOA's drama started. Clean-cut legal mine. First afternoon, I put up 4 security cameras. Not because I expected trouble, just learned early on documentation wins more arguments than charm ever will. Wide-angle motion sensors cloud backup. My buddy Russell, he's a real estate attorney, called while I was screwing in the last bracket. "You sure about this?" he said. "Buying next to an HOA but not in one. That's asking for boundary disputes." I laughed, told him the documentation was bulletproof. He grunted, "Okay, but he had that attorney's edge, the one that means, 'I hope you're right, man.'" First morning in the house, bird song, not sirens. Fresh paint, a kitchen that actually fit my legs under the counter porch steps, warmed by sun. For 90 minutes I had peace until a black SUV rolled up and a woman got out like she owned not just her car, but the whole dang street. Charcoal suit heels, clipboard under one arm like a general about to survey her troops. She didn't wave, didn't knock, just cut across the grass, eyes cold as a January morning. I opened the door before she could bang on it, tried to keep my tone friendly. "Morning, can I help you?" She looked at me like I'd tracked mud on her new carpet. "I'm Denise Caldwell, president of Meadowbrook Homeowners Association. Why didn't you register before moving in?" I just blinked, told her calm as I could. "This property isn't part of your HOA. Check the county records, boundary lines 15 meters west of here." She barely looked at her own map, just shoved it in my face. "Impossible. This whole area falls under our management." I brought out my surveyor's map, county seal marker 47B, the works. Showed her the spot where my property ends, her reign begins. She glanced for maybe 2 seconds, shoved the map back. "I don't care what this says. You're living here, you follow our rules. Membership fees $3,500 a year. Deadline's this Sunday." Didn't even flinch when I told her no thanks, not a member, not signing a thing. "If you don't comply," she said, voice like ice cracking, "there will be consequences." She left with one last glare, the kind of look you feel in your bones. I stood on the porch, map in hand, that first curl of unease in my stomach. Told myself it was nothing a neighbor with too much time and too many forms. But I'd spent enough years in risk analysis to know when something doesn't add up. So I did what I do best, opened a fresh spreadsheet. Incident log Caldwell. Dated, timed, her threat logged, camera footage saved. 72 hours later, she was back, and she brought a friend, Vernon Mathisi, HOA, legal counsel or so he said. Mid-50s khakis polo with some fake logo. They didn't wait on the porch, just marched into my backyard where I was repainting the fence. "You're in violation of Code 14.2, Denise snapped. "Unauthorized construction." I wiped my hands. "It's a repair, not new construction. No permit needed." Vernon tried for the friendly legal guy handshake I let him dangle. "We have authority to inspect any property." "Not mine." I cut in. "We went over this." Denise's face turned crimson. She flung her map onto her SUV's hood like the courtroom scene in a bad TV movie. I put my certified survey right next to hers official seal catching the sunlight. This marker here, I pointed. County certified. My line, your jurisdiction starts 15 meters that way. Vernon squinted, and for a second you could see him think. Denise, he said, this really does show. She cut him off. I don't care what it appears to show. This whole neighborhood's under our oversight. I folded my arms. That's not how property law works. The records are public binding. Want the clerk's office number? Her jaw clenched. You're making a mistake, she hissed, quieter now, scarier for it. A very serious mistake. Then she whipped out an orange sticker, big bold letters, official looking, slapped it on my door. Notice of violation. Failure to comply with HOA regulations will result in legal action. Mandatory relocation in 7 days. I took photos of the sticker, peeled it off, slow looked. Denise, dead in the eyes, told her calmly that she had no authority here. Her notices were false and everything was being documented. Go ahead, she said, too close now, perfume stinging my nose. Let's see who the county believes 30 years of HOA tradition, or some outsider who thinks he's above the rules. Vernon looked like he wanted to be anywhere else. Then she did her own photo sweep my house, my windows circling like she was building a file for her little drama. That's when I told her to leave or I'd call the cops for trespassing. She just laughed, told me to go ahead. She'd love to see me explain why I was living here illegally. I waited until they were gone, added everything to the spreadsheet, sent the lot to Russell. He texted right back, document everything. The more she escalates, the better your case. A week later, the mail brought a letter. Heavy paper, fancy seal, legal notice of fine $10,000. Fake legal department, fake lawyer signature. Searched every database, no such entity exists. Called Russell. It's fraud, straight up. Don't pay, don't respond, report it. I poked around online and sure enough found a whole sub-forum on Meadowbrook drama. 17 complaints about Denise in the past 4 years. Everything from garden gnomes to forced repaintings, people selling at a loss just to get out. One name kept popping up, Iris Whitman. She'd fought Denise for 2 years over a garden gnome, finally caved to the harassment. But she'd kept every letter, every threat. She shared it all with me, and the story started to come together. Then came the fake police calls. 10:30 at night, Officer Denise from the sheriff's office told me to vacate in 24 hours. I asked for her badge number, line went dead. Next morning, a fake cruiser sat outside. Guy in a knockoff uniform tried to serve a seizure order. No badge, wrong logo, everything off. I filmed it all. Look, man, he finally muttered, I'm just doing what I was hired to. Then bolted. Russell told me not to call the police yet. Let them keep digging their own hole unless I felt unsafe. Power got cut that night. 2 a.m. total darkness footage showed Denise and Vernon themselves, wire cutters in hand. I called a real electrician, got the sabotage documented, filed a formal complaint. Denise started sitting outside my house for hours, engine running, just watching. Neighbors said she was asking questions about me, trying to get dirt, spinning tales about how I was dangerous. The prank calls and burner phone threats started, texts like, "We're watching graffiti on my house trash dumped in my yard." Through all this, I kept documenting. Photographs, receipts, everything in triplicate. When the county surveyor came out for an official boundary check, she confirmed that my property line was exactly where I said, well outside the HOA's grasp. The Citizens Legal Defense Association agreed to take my case. Iris brought a box of records. Turns out 4 families had been harassed, then sold under market, all bought by a realtor connected to, you guessed it, Vernon's wife. Denise had a little racket going, harass, threaten, buy, cheap flip for profit. I filed complaints with the state fraud unit, compiled a master file over 200 entries. Meanwhile, word spread. Other homeowners started coming forward, mailbox fines, foreclosure threats, unexplained administrative expenses. We called for a special meeting. 70 people turned up. Usually it's 20 retirees and some cookies. Denise tried to control the narrative, but Russell brought out the certified survey, projected the footage, the letters, the threats, the wire-cutting video. The audio of Denise herself saying, "This isn't about one property, it's about power." You could feel the room shift like someone had opened a window in a stuffy house. The vote to remove Denise as board president was unanimous. The county fraud investigators took it from there. Charges of harassment, trespass, vandalism, impersonating law enforcement, embezzlement, racketeering, you name it. Her own legal counsel handed over emails, off books, minutes, records of payments to shell companies. Denise tried to rally the board, sent a blast email about dangerous misinformation, but by then nobody was buying it. The DA filed charges. The trial lasted 4 days. 12 witnesses, fake cop, testified for a plea. I testified calm, laid out the facts. When Denise's lawyer asked if I regretted pushing her this far, I just said, "I feel sad." Someone chose intimidation over doing what's right. I don't regret defending my rights. Regret. The verdict was guilty on all 6 counts. Denise got 18 months, some suspended, a mountain of fines, a decade-long ban from any HOA board, and a restraining order to stay clear of me and my land. 6 months later, my garden bloomed. Neighbors who used to avoid me started coming by tea with Iris kids from down the street playing by the fence I'd repainted on day 3. Folks asking for advice on their own HOA run-ins. I started helping out reviewing documents for folks who needed it. Every fine I helped overturn felt like I was watering more than just my own tomatoes. The board passed new bylaws, transparency, oversight audits. "You didn't just fix the neighborhood, Leonard," the new president told me. "You gave us a blueprint." I told him you all fixed it. I just refused to leave. One afternoon in May, I got a letter from Denise, handwritten, apologizing without ever saying the word, talking about how power had warped her, how she'd lost her daughter's respect, how she was trying to learn. I didn't write back, just filed it away. Russell called one evening, asked if I ever wondered what would have happened if I'd just paid the dues and joined the HOA that first day. Yeah, I had. Most folks would have. But moving or folding would have meant letting fear write my story. Instead, now I've got a house that's truly mine, a community learning to stand up for itself, and a peace you can't put a price on. You know, the kind you fight for, the kind you earn. So I'm asking, where do you draw the line? When do you fight and when do you walk away? Drop your story below. Let's talk about justice, about what's right, about the neighborhoods we want to live in. And hey, if you know someone who loves a good plot twist, share this with them. You never know who might need to hear it.